Okay, look, the Senate needed 60 votes to pass a spending bill and keep the budget going and keep the government open. They couldn't get it. There's not enough Republicans. There's not enough Democrats. Nobody gets 60 votes. They needed some people to flip. The Democrats held strong, didn't flip, didn't give the votes needed, got to a shutdown. Their main contention was that they wanted to extend the subsidies for the Affordable Care Act, aka Obamacare. Basically the stuff that makes your premiums for Obamacare cheaper. So the amount of money you pay every month for health insurance, if you have Obamacare, is much lower because of these subsidies. That was like their main thing. So they're holding out. They're like basically saying, if you don't extend these subsidies because they're about to expire, then we won't support your spending bill and the government will shut down. And they both head to head, no movement, nobody making any progress. They weren't even, no side was even really negotiating, unlike past shutdowns. And so we got days after days after days of no progress. Now, both parties, Republicans and Democrats, thought the other side would have it worse. They both pointed fingers and they wanted the public to blame the other party. And so if their polling went down, they would crack. That was the idea. But then something very interesting just happened. Something crazy, to be honest. So after a month plus of this shutdown, and again, it's starting to get bad. After 30 days, it gets exponentially bad because people have now been a month without pay. They're working 38-hour weeks and getting zero pay stub, no money. And so they can't afford rent, mortgage, schooling for their kids. There's a lot of things they can't afford. So it becomes a real problem. And when they don't spend, other places have to start laying off because they don't have the customers coming in. So it's like a spreading, cascading bad effect. Air traffic controllers stop coming into work. Flight shutdown. Again, as of 2 days ago, they were shutting down 10% of all flights at like the 40 largest airports in America. Things are getting pretty bad. But here's the thing. In the political battle, it was like very clear people were blaming Trump more. Full stop. Like his polling was taking a harder hit, and the Democrats won 3 big elections. They won the New York one, they won, I forget the exact other two. It was the Virginia one and the New Jersey one, maybe? They won 3 big elections, okay? So it was working. Like the plan was, we're both gonna take some hits. Everyone's gonna be mad at the government, both sides, because this is a disaster shutdown, but they're more mad at the people in power for this chaos. So the plan is working. And even Trump in private is, some things leaked. He's talking to Republicans. He's like, hey, we're getting killed out there. Trump is saying this. He's like, we're getting killed. We have to eliminate the filibuster and get something forced through because the shutdown has to end. Okay? So the plan is working. Now, it is bad for America to have the shutdown go on. But if you're going to commit to it and it's working for your goals and you think you're going to get your goals, then it is crazy to find out that yesterday, 8 Democrats flipped. They abandoned the plan. They flipped. They voted Republicans. They got the 60 votes they needed. And now the shutdown is not yet ended, but about to end it. So I have the names. This is the Democrats who flipped. So we got Dick Durbin, we got Tim Kaine, we got Maggie Hassan, we got Jeannie Shaheen, Jackie Rosen, Catherine Cortez Masto, John Fetterman, and Angus King. I forget which one of these. One of these had always voted support of the bill. And then Rand Paul voted against the one Republican. Rand Paul, the budget god. This guy wants a balanced budget, and I do respect it. He's consistent. So anyway, these guys flip. Now, the unique thing about all these voters here for the Democrat Party is that none of them, not one of them, is up for election anytime soon. Either they're on their last term or they don't have to rerun until like 28 or something like that. They're nowhere near an election. So the will of the voters to punish them for caving is like impossible to enforce. Now, the head of the DNC, Chuck Schumer, voted against the bill. He said they shouldn't have done this, yada, yada, yada. But it's suspect, and I want to explain why. It's suspect. Chuck Schumer and Hakeem Jeffries, they both voted against the bill. They said these guys were a splinter cell, but because it's so coordinated to be a specific group of Democrats who all are lined up with no way to be punished, it feels more like a way that they could pick and choose a few key votes to end the shutdown while allowing everyone else to avoid the blame. That's what it feels like. Now, we don't know that, but it's kind of bad either way, and I want to explain. So if you're Chuck Schumer and you're the head of the DNC, and you're like, I didn't approve this, like this is a bad idea, that even if you're telling the truth, it's a sign of incompetence. You know what I'm saying? It's a sign that you can't get your fucking house in order. This is the biggest thing the Democrat Party's had to do in Trump era. This is their only leverage. This is the one stance. So either you can't keep people in line to keep a cohesive message that's working, or worse than that, you have literally planned and coordinated a way to undermine what people actually want. We can't know. It's behind closed doors. It does look suspect. And either way, the way I saw it described is like Democrats yet again find a way to snatch defeat from the jaws of victory. And that's really what it is. Like, I don't want to overstate how it was actually working. The chaos of the government shutdown, while bad, again, on a human level, you can be like, listen, this has to end no matter what, because the human level is problem. But if you're going to commit to it, it's insane to abandon it once what everyone expects will happen will happen. That's the crazy part. You know, if you're going to go into a shutdown face-off, there's going to be some kind of pain that leads to people ousting the opposing party. If you're like anti-pain at all, no pain, I'll cave no matter what, then you should have caved from the beginning. It doesn't make any sense.